Well, hello there. Hope you're having a good day today. Welcome to my weekly abundance reading. It's the 7th of February 2022. My name is Karen Turpin from karenturpin.com. Now, the intensity over the weekend, the energies I feel have been really building, intensifying. And I think we're going to have to get used to that, quite honestly, because we're not there yet. There's always the joke, are we there yet? Are we there yet? No, we're not there yet. We've got a few months left of this. It's like the energy is building into a kind of crescendo. So emotions are being whipped up, not quite to a frenzy, but probably that's where we're headed. We're definitely got to gather more energy to kind of push this over the finish line. So there is change in the air. And we've been wanting this change, right? Because, well, for the last 2 years, things have been pretty haywire. We've been asking for this change. And while we're not there yet, there is a lot of movement that's happening. And we know we'll get there if we just keep taking these action steps and we keep moving in the direction of where we want to be. So there is a cause and effect to this, of course. And so whatever you put into motion, whatever steps you take, whatever intentions you set, and actually whatever words that you say, there will be an outcome from that, because cause and effect is one of the universal laws that kind of operate here. So the more energy that we're building into something, anything, the bigger the outcome will be. And it becomes very dramatic the more energy that we put into something. This is a battle of light and dark, as you know. It's intensifying. Neither side is willing to give up. The exciting part is that there's more of us than there are them. And I know we've been saying all of these things for years. You know, probably I've been talking about this for 20 years. And yeah, people thought I was a crackpot or a nutcase. And they still might think that, but I don't care. And, you know, now being called a conspiracy theorist is actually quite funny, because I'm sure you'll agree, all the conspiracy theories that we were accused of, they're all coming true. You know, there's a few memes around Facebook saying that we need some new conspiracy theories because all of ours have proven to be true. And that is exactly the case. I listened briefly this morning to, God, I forgot his name now. I'm so sorry about that. Anyway, he is presenting the case to the Nuremberg 2 trials, basically, for human rights. And he made 4 key points. And it's everything that we've been talking about for 20 years. And his presentation is so good. I'll try and remember to link it below this, actually. I'll have to find it again. So anyway, neither side is willing to give up. The light, well, because we're going to win. You know, we're in that process of evolution. The light has already won. The dark won't accept it yet. And the light hasn't fully landed yet either, because there's always a time lag between when you put something in motion, the intention, and when the energy builds and before it actually lands. So we're in that in-between time, not a time to give up. We have to keep building energy, keep moving forward. So that's important to say that. So I'm sorry to say that it is an us and them. You probably heard me talk many times before that this is the time of unity. We're actually meant to come together. Sorry, I just got to put my phone on silent in case it rings. We're meant to come together now in unity. This is why community is so important, finding your tribe, your group, your like-minded people, because there's a lot of strength in all of that. But we're in the time of unity. And right here we are in a massive divide, which is like a bit weird, but polarity, right? There's always got to be a contrast. So while some of us are more community-minded, building these communities of like-minded people, there are also people dividing and moving away from us. I mean, we've seen divide and splitting apart even within family units. And that's sad. Much of that is orchestrated by what I'm going to call the dark side, because, like literally, you want to be with your loved ones if they're sick in hospital, your older people in the nursing homes, and the dark side are literally stopping you from seeing them. That is so cruel, heartbreaking, so cruel. They are causing that divide within the family units as well. All the mandates and, all these juice procedures that they're insisting upon, that's causing a divide within the family as well. All of that is caused by the dark side. That's not caused by the light side. The light is about bringing everybody together in peace and harmony and in love. So the divide is being caused by the dark side. So sorry, yes, it is an us and them situation. We are not all in this together. They are in it together, but it's against us predominantly. Having said that, some of us are choosing the dark side. Free will and choice, right? They can go that way. They are headed to a different destination on a different dimension and timeline to what we, let's say, more conscious or spiritually aware people, we're headed to a different destination, different dimension, different timeline. There's the timeline split that I've been talking about as well. Where they're headed and where they want to drag us to is not a timeline or a destination that affords us freedom or sovereignty. And of course, that's what people are standing up for when we see these protests and the convoys, the truckers' convoys all around the world. Now, if we didn't have so much suppression and censoring of mainstream media, if they could actually get the truth rather than the narrative out, we would see that there are massive uprisings all over the world. And I say that every week because I think it's important for us to realize that. If you don't look at alternative news, you may not know that there are millions and millions of people rising up around the globe. And to me, that is so inspirational. It's beautiful. My heart swells with joy when I see how many of us are rising up. But anyway, it has to be this way, this divide thing, or the challenge or the invitation to choose which side you're going to be on, because this is the spiritual invitation. We have free will and choice on this planet. What the dark side are trying to do is take away our right for choice and our right for free will. They are trying to control that, take that away from us. So we can choose to participate in their tyranny, the tyrannical rule, the self-policing, they call it, but the policing of other members of humanity or population, dobbing them in because they haven't worn a piece of cloth over their face, for goodness sake, all of that stuff. Those people that do that are choosing to participate in a tyrannical rule. That is, they're choosing tyranny. And then there are others of us that are choosing freedom and sovereignty. We have the right to choose. That God gave us that right. So the choice is yours, but even that choice is dividing people, because a lot of people can't see that they are choosing to be part of the tyranny. They can't see the big picture. So we've got the light and the dark. We've got the dark agenda, government and all of that against the people. And then we have divide within the people as well, because some of the people are choosing to go basically to the dark side as far as I see that. So the people that are choosing that, they can't see the big picture. Goodness knows why they would choose the dark side, but yes, they can't see the big picture. And that's why we say they are asleep, they are blind. It's a kind of expression. So in about, I think it was about 1995, when I first started getting into nutrition, and I did a degree in nutrition around that time as well. And what I learned in that course, holistic nutrition, was astounding to me. I remember being absolutely shocked, shaken, really, when I discovered that the government doesn't care about us. I started to learn about processed foods as part of my holistic nutrition. I also started to learn about herbs, and things found in nature that can heal the body, that was suppressed or kind of outlawed by the governments and the FDA. And that was a lot for me to get my head around then, because I thought the FDA were on our side. And I just presumed that if something is sold on the shelves in a supermarket, that it must be okay for us, because surely the government wouldn't let these food manufacturers do anything that would harm us. Well, as you can imagine, that was a huge awakening to discover that basically the FDA and the governments are all in cahoots. And, the marketing campaigns and the propaganda put forward by the meat and dairy industries and tobacco and sugar and alcohol, they are all in that together, because there's massive kickbacks, paybacks. When the government and the FDA allow something to go through, they get paid for that by the multinational corporations and the food manufacturers. And sorry, that was really shocking to me. That was almost 30 years ago now. So I've kind of been looking at this stuff for a long while, and I appreciate that a lot of people don't know that stuff. But please, it's time to wake up and look at it now. If you don't know any of that stuff yet, you really need to look that up. So this change has been slow. As I say, I've been into this for 30 years. I've been talking about it, and I've been called, a conspiracy theorist for all that time. It's proven true now. The information's there. Please go and look at it. And what's also true is that this is a massive, on a mass scale, global psychological operation to control the masses, to program them, etc., etc. This is why we have to keep pushing for our freedom. And there's this massive groundswell of people standing up, and that is perfect. So I talk about abundance. Obviously, I'm an abundance coach, and I teach people how to get over their money blocks, get their subconscious mind, into abundance frequencies, as opposed to lack and scarcity. But, with government coming in and closing businesses and taking a people's right to earn a living, taking their livelihood away, all of that is so against abundance and prosperity consciousness. So, from that level, what I'm talking about here in these types of things is basically the government, this agenda, this dark agenda, is really attacking your prosperity consciousness. The abundance of the people, we have a right to earn a living. We have a right to, gather energy to put our consciousness into prosperity and abundance and love and support for our fellow human. But what their agenda is taking all of that away from us. If you haven't heard of this, please look up Agenda 2030. Look up the World Economic Forum. Look up the global leaders. Look up Klaus Schwab. The information is all there. And what their catchphrase is that they, meaning us, the people, they will own nothing and they will be happy, because their plan, their agenda is to take everything away from us. Our livelihoods, our money, by controlling it in the banks, devaluing it, taking it away from us, taking away our livelihoods, even taking away our homes. They will own nothing is what they want. They want us to own nothing. They want us, they want to completely control us in every aspect of our life and our health. And so these protests, these convoys, are all about abundance, actually. Our right to live a beautiful, abundant, happy, prosperous life, which is what God intended for us. We are the source of our abundance, but it's all being kind of collapsed inwards, right? Because they're taking over our mind, trying to take over our mind. They're trying to put us into a scarcity mindset with the fear of the food shortages. They're taking away our livelihoods. That depresses and demoralizes people. Some people will be losing their homes because they can't pay their mortgages. And all of these things that they're just trying to put us into massive fear to lower our vibration. When you're in a low vibrational state, you cannot attract abundance and prosperity and money or even joy to you. You're in a very low vibration. And from there, you can be easily controlled, because when you have nothing left, you will look to the government to support you and look after you with handouts. But then you become owned by them, right? So that's the whole thing. Totally against everything that I believe God or the universal source intended for us, which is absolute prosperity and abundance. So this is why, because somebody asked me, why am I talking about, all of this global protests and the governments when I'm talking about abundance? It's because it's that. Everything that we see going on at the moment globally is an attempt to take away our abundance consciousness, mindset, and those elevated emotions of joy and freedom and sovereignty that literally open up our consciousness to even more, so that we begin to feel unlimited, so that we know that everything is available to us if we open up our consciousness and connect with it. So we're looking then at going into a state of limitless potential, absolute abundance, connected with the quantum field, quantum consciousness, which is all higher vibration, complete opposite of the scarcity, the fear, the lack that the government agenda is putting on people through their mass psychological operation of programming everybody to be afraid to breathe air, to be afraid to be in contact with your loved one, to be afraid to hug your loved one, for goodness sake. We know even in neonatal units that tiny babies respond from human touch and the bonding of the heart with the mother to create a beautiful energy field for the child. Babies that are taken away from human contact, we only have to look at those terrible orphanages, in Eastern Bloc countries, what we've seen on the news and things. Those children don't develop properly because they don't have human contact. They are not picked up and hugged. They don't have interaction with their friends. They are all separated. And look at what the governments are doing to children. My goodness, if you want a new career choice, look at psychology, because they are damaging our children. They can't breathe in fresh air. They can't play with their friends. They can't hug each other. And our elderly people are suffering as well, because this is human connection and we need that. And our governments, they're not ours. They are a law unto themselves. They don't represent us. They are taking away human connection to the point that they even want to destroy our DNA that connects us with source light, this God code that moves through us and within us. So I've probably spoken far too long today, but you can see that I'm very passionate about this. And I will do this again next week, because that is what I do. And people have said to me that these abundance readings that I do each week are like a beacon of light in some very dark days that people have. So I hope that what I say here each week is helpful to you. Please reach out if you're feeling lost and alone. Let's come together in like-minded communities. Let's support one another, because that's what we're meant to do. You've probably seen the movie Avatar. I love that movie. And they look at Pandora and they look at the tree roots and the interconnectedness of everything that is there. And it all lives in peace and harmony and love until the freaking government arrive and they start to try and take it over, right? And it destroys it. I feel that we still have the potential, human potential, to create Pandora, that connection of love for every living being. And that's what we need to remember and stick together, because it's important for us. So that's my little abundance reading today. Hope it's been helpful to you. Reach out, connect with me, give me your thoughts and your comments. I read every message, every comment, every DM. Let's stay connected to human consciousness, to source consciousness, source light. So that's me for today. Of course, follow me, subscribe so that you don't miss anything. You can get on my email list at my website, karenturpin.com, and on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I'm Karen Turpin, Abundance Coach. Have a great week, and I will see you this time next week. Bye for now.